Fellow FPL managers, guys, today we are going to be looking at my transfer plans for double game week 25 and how it determines my chip strategy for the rest of the season. So first off, the current team, guys. We're going to pull up the current team. I've got 3 free transfers and I've got 0.2 million in the bank. I've already got 3 double game week plays in Liverpool, but I want more, okay? Even though these Aston Villa plays, they're short term, I want some of them because a lot of people got in Everton players last game week, double game week 24, and I thought that was a stupid move, but they got loads of points from it. So with Aston Villa playing home to Ipswich, I'm taking advantage of that. I know one of those games is also playing against Liverpool, and it's not going to be so easy, but you know, Aston Villa at home, guys, they are a lot better than they are away. I mean, look at the stats here. Playing at home, there's not much better teams than Aston Villa, so hopefully, even though there's some tough games ahead, they do have 3 home games in a row in 2 game weeks, so I'm quite optimistic about it. They're playing home to Ipswich first, hopefully some safe points there for all their players. They play home to Liverpool, a tough game, but they could still do something maybe if they're lucky, if Liverpool aren't at their best. And then finally, home to Chelsea, who are off form at the moment, guys. They have 2 wins in the last 8 games. They also have 2 wins in the last 3 games, so depending on how you look at it, good form, bad form, I like to look at the glass half full, so I'm saying they're on bad form because I've got players playing against them. I also have 2 players that play for Chelsea, so kind of going against myself there. Before I go deep into the plans, guys, I need to look at who to sell. And currently, Trent, yellow flagged. Do I sell him, guys? What am I going to do with Trent? Well, looking at the most recent news and the rumours, it looks like it's going to be a number of days more than weeks. And they even said they're aiming to get him some minutes in the Merseyside derby. Well, they said it was a realistic target. So if Trent can get minutes in the Merseyside derby later this week or midweek through next week, I'm going to be pretty happy with keeping Trent because it means he could start both games of the double, if not at least one. I'd rather it be both because that home game to Wolves is a lot easier than that game away to Aston Villa. And if he doesn't start that game, guys, we're just going to have to wait for more news. I really hope I don't have to sell Trent because he's a player I'd like to keep in my team, probably for the rest of the season until I use my second wild card. So we're not selling Trent. Who should I sell, guys? We need to think ahead here. I want Aston Villa players. I want to sell players who either aren't good or don't have a good fixture run. But I also want to sell my assistant manager. As you can see, we've got Moyes here in the top corner. I don't want Moyes anymore, guys. I have the most powerful ship in the game at my disposal, and it's currently being used on a single game week player. I want it on a double game week player. I want it on Unai Emery, guys, okay? He is playing home to Ipswich and home to Liverpool, like I already said. And I like this for 2 reasons, you know. First of all, home to Ipswich should be safe points. Then home to Liverpool is going to be tough, but even a draw in the worst case scenario is a 9-pointer, which is a huge win. And if he manages to get 3 points against Liverpool, then he could end the double game week on around 30 points, which is just ridiculous to think. And then after that, I would keep him in my team for game week 26 where he plays home to Chelsea. Now, guys, Aston Villa, I know what you're thinking. Tough games, you know. Home to Liverpool and home to Chelsea aren't easy games. But let me tell you this about Unai Emery. Aston Villa have only lost 1 game at home all season, and that was against Arsenal, where Ollie Watkins missed 2 big chances. So the result, even then, could have been different. On a different day, Aston Villa could have got a draw that game, and they would be unbeaten at home all season. So playing home to Liverpool, it's going to be tough, but it's not a likely win for Liverpool, guys. Aston Villa really could get a result here. And I know Liverpool are better than Arsenal, guys. I know Liverpool are the best team in the league, so Aston Villa will have their toughest home game yet. But like I said, their home form is good, and I'm glass half full, you know. I like to look at the good side. I like to look at the good outcome. And the good outcome is very, very good. Then he plays home to Chelsea, which, you know, could be good. Like I said, they're off form and Aston Villa don't tend to lose at home. So that transfer, guys, it's locked in already. Fingers crossed Unai Emery wins against Ipswich, wins against Liverpool. Easy 30-pointer for me. Not too much to ask for, right? You know, that's quite a realistic scenario. Gakpo has a double himself. Mateta has a great fixture run and great form. And Isak is the best striker in the league at the moment. I don't care how bad his fixture run is, because his fixture run is bad. I'm not going to sell him. But guess what? There's 2 more players in my team with that exact same fixture run. Those are the 2 players I'm going to want to sell. Maybe. Let's look at it. Gordon and Lewis Hall. Who would I sell these guys for? Who would I bring in? Are the Aston Villa midfielders and defenders good enough to fill these guys' boots? Are they actually worth it? Because they're only really going to be in my team for the next 2 game weeks, guys. Looking at Aston Villa's fixture run, these Aston Villa players are only going to be good up until game week 26 because in away games, they are absolutely useless. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Morgan Rogers may play in some of those away games, but he's not going to do that well. So, is this short 2 game week punt actually going to be worth it? Let's have a look. Well, I'm not exactly selling Hall and Gordon. I need a new defender and a new midfielder. And I can do that by selling Greaves instead of Lewis Hall and leaving Lewis Hall on my bench until my second wildcard, because the Newcastle fixtures do pick up in around 5 game weeks time, and it wouldn't hurt to have him on my bench if I can afford it. And since the best Aston Villa midfielder to go for is Morgan Rogers, I can definitely afford that, which means my transfer plans with these 3 free transfers, guys, it is to go from Moyes to Emery, it is to go from Gordon to Rogers, and then Greaves down to Konza. I do like the looks of Digne as well from Aston Villa defence because he has the highest expected assists, but Konza is the only one getting reliable minutes, the only one who has started 5 out of the last 5 for Aston Villa. So I need to play it safer here because I don't want to play Luca Digne here for him to get benched for the Ipswich game, miss out on clean sheet points, then start for Liverpool and not get the clean sheet points. That is going to frustrate me, guys. So I'm going with Konza just to play it safe. So selling Greaves, I'm completely okay with, guys. Greaves never does anything anyway. He was just bench fodder. With Gordon, it's not ideal selling Gordon because he is so consistent and he does double in game week 33, but I've got plenty of time to bring him back. My problem is bringing in Morgan Rogers, guys. Every Aston Villa midfielder on recent form is terrible. And they've just brought in 2 new midfielders in Asensio and Rashford. So everyone else but Morgan Rogers is a bad option because they're rotation risks. Rogers mainly plays down the centre. Then again, Tielemans does too. But Rogers is clearly the most valued, the best midfielder in that Aston Villa attack. So I really don't think his minutes would get affected too much by these new signings. At least I'm saying that, I'm hoping that. And I wouldn't bring Rogers in if I didn't believe that. Despite Morgan Rogers' poor form in the Premier League, guys, he did score a hat-trick in the Champions League. So he clearly still can score goals and still bag points in FPL. He's just been doing it in the wrong competition. Now I'm bringing him in. I'm hoping he can switch it up a little bit and score the goals in the Premier League instead of just the Champions League. So Rogers, if you could do that for me, mate, greatly appreciated. Some people could argue I should sell Ismaila Sarr for Morgan Rogers because Ismaila Sarr's been on bad form as well. But guys, Ismaila Sarr has good underlying data and still a really good fixture run and still a double in game week 33. So I don't really want to lose Ismaila Sarr despite the hate he gets. I think he is still a good FPL asset to own and he is not going anywhere anytime soon. I am riding that horse until it dies of old age. Okay, I'm not going to lie. Ismaila Sarr's not going until I wildcard, guys. I said it. Now, why does this affect my chip strategy, guys? Why does this lock me in to a certain chip strategy? I'm going to tell you why. If I buy 3 Aston Villa players, that means pretty much my entire starting 11, aside from 1 player, is going to blank in game week 29. So guys, I'm on free hit 29. This determines my chip strategy because there is only one route to go after you free hit in 29. When you go into game week 30, you don't use another chip. You keep your team as it is. Luckily, I'm going to be in possession of some really good players. For Liverpool, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, all those players are really good to own from game week 30 onwards. So you're not going to need a wild card. You're going to bring in players for double game week 33, Crystal Palace and Newcastle. Then you can use either a triple captain or an assistant manager, okay? You don't really want to use your bench boost on such a small game week like that, okay? So I'm personally going to use triple captain because I've already used my assistant manager. If you've already used triple captain, you would use assistant manager probably in game week 31, almost definitely in game week 31, then get that double in game week 33. Then you have blank game week 34, which is going to be a big blank, which is a big problem. Guys, when I say my chip strategy is going to be locked in on this, going for triple Aston Villa, it doesn't mean I like this chip strategy. In fact, I think this is the second best chip strategy. I think there's a different one that's better, but it doesn't suit my team as much. Because for this chip strategy here, you can't do anything in blank game week 34. You can't use your second wild card because you have to save that for bench boost. You can't use your free hit because you've already used it. You just need to hope you have 11 players to field and not get a massive red arrow. Then you go into wild card 35 to prepare for the double game week 36 bench boost. That's the chip strategy. That's the bog standard one when you free hit in game week 29 and you've got all your chips left. That's the only route you would take. If I abandon my transfer plans and only make transfers towards players who are going to play in game week 29, I can have a slightly worse team across the next 5 game weeks, but I can have a better chip strategy. This new chip strategy will allow me to dead end my team into game week 29 instead of using a chip. Then I can use my wild card in game week 30, which is reason number 1 why this chip strategy is better, because it means I get more out of my wild card. If I use it in game week 35, I get 4 weeks out of it. If I use it in game week 30, I get 9 weeks out of it. So that's already a positive. Next up, you go into double game week 33. Once again, assistant manager or triple captain, whichever one you have left. Hopefully you have at least one left, but if not, it doesn't ruin the chip strategy too much because your team can just, play that game week with slightly less points. Then we have blank game week 34, where you have your free hit left remaining, guys. It's the FA Cup semi-finals, meaning there could be around 8 teams blanking, which, maybe there could be only 2 teams blanking, but if there's 8, you need that free hit. That's going to help you massively. Then you go into game week 35, you don't have a wild card left. You play it normally. Then you bench boost in double game week 36, using all your transfers post wild card to bring in players who are going to double in game week 36. Now, if I want to do that chip strategy number 2, I have to abandon all my transfer plans, which does appeal to me, but it doesn't suit my team that much, and I could be sacrificing way too much, especially sacrificing points in this double game week, because I would need to save all of my free transfers to bring in players that are playing in game week 29, and I would still have to take a -4 to field a full 11. And I've not taken a -4 all season. I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Guys, I'm going to do a more in-depth video of chip strategy later this game week, so make sure you stay tuned for that. That's where I'll go more in detail as to both chip strategies I explained in today's video, but I'm going to do it in way more detail and talk about how you play it and how you navigate the, blank game week 34, for example, how you would deal with it without a free hit. So guys, that is my transfer plans. I don't know if I'm going to stick to it because I might want to take that second chip strategy option, which means no Aston Villa players in my team. But at the same time, I know it doesn't suit it. So guys, let me know what you think I should do. And let me know what you guys are going to do, because it's a really good time to start thinking about that chip strategy before making your transfers this game week. Guys, let me know in the comments what you're doing. If you did make it this far, you are greatly appreciated. And I will see you all in the next video.